Today, we're drafting NCAA finals matches. So the all-time best NCAA finals. Davey Bravey, hit us with that list generator to see who gets to draft first.
Where'd my phone go?
There are 4 rounds to this draft is what I understand, right?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to randomize,
Serpentine.
and this is going to be serpentine in nature.
All
right.
My serpentine.
Number 1 pick is Tyler, followed by CP, followed by JD.
Okay.
Wow.
So now you can't make the excuse
Man.
that I got to go first.
Kellen Russell, Boris Novashkov going off the board quick.
That's a great one. No doubt. No doubt about it. I am going to have... Oh, man. There's 2 that stick out in my mind, and I'm trying to figure out which one would help me more in a social media poll.
See, this is your problem.
Pick the best one.
This won't get included in the clip because you make the clips, but you're not doing it from your heart and soul. You're just doing it for clout.
Correct. It will make it. I'll put it
pick.
in. I'm going to pick Dan Gable, Larry Owings. It's one of the most famous
iconic.
NCAA finals of all time. Dan Gable, undefeated in college, going for his 3rd NCAA title because you couldn't get 4 back then. Loses to Larry Owings, who went on a vision quest to beat the man.
Did you watch that? Have you seen that match?
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy. Have you tried to rescore it? It's sort of weird. I've watched it many times. I'm like, did Dan score more points? Kind of seems like he.
I didn't watch it yesterday in preparation for this. I just have seen it before.
Okay, that's a good first pick.
I mean, it keeps Gable from arguing GOAT with Kale.
Am I next? Mm-hmm. I'm always second. That's okay. This would have been my pick, number 1 overall. It's the most popular NCAA finals ever. It is the most hyped NCAA finals ever. And it's only gotten cooler since that time.
Yep.
Kyle Dake versus David Taylor. Mm-hmm. And listen, not only do you say that while those 2 wrestled, but the the guts that Dake shows leaving the safe waters of 157 and going up to 165 to take on the reigning Hodge Trophy winner, David Taylor, his friend, and with putting his 4th title on the line to say, no, I can beat David Taylor. Let me beat him in the All-Star. I'll beat him at the Southern Scuffle, and I'll beat him at NCAAs. Crazy. And it's not just, you can't just take, those 2 wrestled. This was a crazy match. David comes out, picks him right away, shoves him off. I mean, that was hardcore. And then Dake, low single, gets the backdoor finish, rides. Just so iconic. It was the most watched, most popular ever. And now you take what they've gone on to do, Olympic champion David Taylor, and it looks like we think Kyle Dake's going to be an Olympic champion. The match just gets bigger and cooler every time, and NCAA wrestling ratings have never been higher. They've never been able to match the magic of Dake versus Taylor.
Yep, that was going to be my 1-1 pick as well. For every reason you just said. The data literally shows it's the most popular NCAA final. That's 1-1. But with my first pick, I'm going Bo Nickel pinning Miles Martin in the NCAA finals 2018, 184 pounds, because the team, he got it done for his team as well. Crazy team race that clinched it for them. Plus with the pin, there was the history there between Mymar and Bo Nickel. Miles Martin had beaten him in the NCAA finals before, so this wasn't a foregone conclusion. We got that's what we do on this.
And a film.
So
the only sad thing, it's so short. You know, all the things around it, but it's like, it's over.
That's also what makes it so great is that he pinned him.
He did pin him.
Unreal. That was crazy.
That was nuts. You got back to back. You're
back to back. Okay.
Don't take mine.
With my next pick.
Don't you do it.
2009, 149 pounds.
Oh, okay.
Darian Caldwell, Brent Metcalf.
That's fire. I didn't even have that written down personally.
I wasn't gonna pick that one.
It's a good one though.
It is a good one.
As a kid in Iowa at this time, Brent Metcalf's a god. he teched Darren Caldwell earlier in the year. Caldwell comes out, lefty headlock. Metcalf inching back. The antics from the Caldwell, and then obviously the shove at the end was like the icing on the cake to cement that as an iconic NCAA moment.
How about Metcalf just facing the music after that, doing the interview afterwards? I must have watched that interview 15 times.
Where was he? Like
they booing me right in the tunnel.
In the tunnel, yep.
They booing me. To me, they're booing the guy running. Guys, man, iconic match.
Tyler, you probably don't remember or realize how big Brent Metcalf was at the time.
I don't. I didn't start wrestling until 2012.
So, wow, that's kind of crazy. So, I remember this is the first NCAAs I went to. It was in St. Louis. And I remember talking with people on the train. I think I know it all. And people are like, I remember someone saying, I remember this conversation vividly. Someone be like, I think that Caldwell guy can do it. I remember, no way. And everyone else was kind of like, no way. Come on, you're just being a shock jock saying this. And I was like, no one's beating. He already teched this dude. It's over. He's going to kill everyone. Like the reputation of Metcalf, I don't think we've had one like it since then.
This was peak bad boy Iowa too, because they were winning the NCAA team title as well at this time. People hated Iowa.
Destroying hotel rooms.
So
Really?
No.
and the fact that a guy from NC State beat him,
Yeah.
the way he beat him, the flash and the flare and the unconventional techniques of Caldwell versus the in-your-face pace from Metcalf.
Yeah. It wasn't he starts off with a low single takedown, and then he lefty headlocks him. But Metcalf could have, he was in on so many attacks and just could not finish. It looked like he was like 85% to all these takedowns, and Caldwell had all these shifty hips and was able to counter score a bunch of the Metcalf takedowns. It's a great pick. Good start for JD.
And again, nostalgic for me because 2009, kid in Central Iowa. I will never forget that.
Kind of a fake Cyclone fan now, bringing that up though.
Hey, I'm a state of Iowa guy.
Okay, yeah, but he lost. I don't know if you know that. Metcalf didn't win.
I know.
Okay, so it's not good for the state of Iowa that a guy from NC State beat you. But I'm not gonna. It's your list.
My list.
It should definitely be on there. That's a good one. Mine. This is one where I'm like, I
know what
remember where I was in the living room of my parents' house watching this one, being like, this match is so crazy. I'm like, I don't know if he can do it. So much hype. Mark Perry Jr. versus Johnny Hendricks.
Yep, that was
on my list.
This is insane that this match. First of all, Mark Perry was 0 and everything against Johnny Hendricks. He had never beaten him.
It was 4 or 5, yeah.
They go. Mark Perry is the nephew of John Smith, Oklahoma State's coach. They recruited Johnny Hendricks in Mark Perry's mind over Mark Perry. He goes to Iowa, the sworn enemy, and he just loses to Johnny Hendricks. He keeps losing. Johnny's got the lead, and then Mark Perry ends up getting a reversal, and he starts riding him, and he's got to ride him for the turn. And then he gets this. He switches sides, and he throws this this half and
waist half,
deep waist, and gets this 1, 2. And I remember even the ref was mic'd up and hearing him count, and oh man, I'll just never forget it. Mark Perry kind of crawls on the mat on his knees in elation. For me, this is honestly, it's my number one, but I kind of want to win the poll, and I thought this would come back to me, and it did. Mm-hmm. So, but for me,
I was hoping that you guys would think I don't need to say this one soon because there's no way Tyler will know this one because you guys underestimate me heavily.
Well, you like that doc.
I do like
Mark Perry driven. Mm-hmm. So for that reason, I knew it would be on your radar. It was definitely going to be my second pick. This is a crazy one. Mark Perry versus Johnny Hendricks. Incredible NCAA final.
All right, my turn.
Your turn.
Get it.
Good pick.
Oh man, I have. I don't think it's any secret that my historical wrestling knowledge is not really on par with the two of you, but I did do some research. I think I can stand up to you guys.
Wow.
This is a match that I watched when I was in high school. It's one of my favorite matches. One of my favorite NCAA finals matches of all time. I don't know how well it will do on an Instagram poll, but this is just one of my favorites.
What is it?
Allow me to paint a picture for you.
You're still painting.
One of the greatest phenoms of all time. He goes to college. There's huge expectations on him. He makes the NCAA finals. He gets pinned by an Iowa State wrestler named Kevin Gatson. That is not my match that I'm talking about, though.
Oh.
Wow.
The next year,
This was going to be my next.
he goes up in weight.
Son of a gun.
First of all, he wins an world title, goes up in weight to heavyweight. Can he do it? He was wrestling at 97 kilograms. It's not ideal for him to keep wrestling at 197 and wrestle at 97 kilograms. There's too big of a weight difference. He wants to go heavyweight, but is he big enough? There's already Nick Gwizowski sitting there, a 2-time national champion, massive man. Can this guy beat him? And for a while, it looked like no. He gives up the first takedown. He's down 2-0. He gives up the next takedown.
Yep.
He's down 5-3. He gets a takedown with 30 seconds left. 5-5 tie. They go out of bounds. He has to ride this man for 20 seconds to get to overtime. He has not been able to ride this man ever. You can't ride this man. He's way bigger than you.
And you're not even good on top, Kyle.
You're not even good on top, Kyle. I'm sure Kyle's good on top, but at heavyweight, it's hard.
Hard.
He rides him for 20 seconds. He goes to overtime. Gwiz gets in on a shot on Kyle. Now, up to this point, most of Gwiz's takedowns on Kyle were go-behinds. He crushes him a little bit when he gets in. Gwiz gets in on his own shot on Kyle. Kyle, much smaller than this man, fights off the takedown as Gwiz is standing back up to his feet, gets in on a shot, gets the takedown, wins a national title, gets his first national title after he won his first world title. Crazy match.
I was in MSG, too,
MSG.
right?
And also, you have to recall, Kyle was Olympic redshirting, and they announced New Year's Eve, or right at midnight, I'm coming out Olympic redshirt. I'm going heavyweight. It's like, oh my gosh, this is going to happen.
Gwiz wasn't just like the best heavyweight. This man, 2-time NCAA champion. He had a 56 match winning streak going into this match. He had been the guy, one of the most dominant wrestlers in the country, regardless of weight. So yeah, this was going to be my next pick too. This is a match I like to think you show somebody who's never watched wrestling.
Yes.
You can show them this match and you can tell like the hype around it based on the crowd, the commentary going on during it.
This was all people talked about from January 1st on. This was the #1 topic of conversation. What's going to happen, including, hey, how do you see this? Because Kyle only had a handful of matches, and like he sort of the Matrix kind of was like, he should kind of be like the 4 on the same side as Nick, but they sort of rigged it in a way so that they would be opposite one another. Because he had Adam Kuhn on the same side. That was the NCAA final the year before. Gwiz wrestled him in the semi, and then Snyder was down below. This is a very good selection. I had hoped this would come back to me, but good job by Tyler. And you have another pick.
I do have another pick. Now, imagine for a second.
You gonna do this whole thing again?
You're a really good wrestler.
Just say it. Just say your pick.
I'm there.
They bring in a top recruit. This guy, huge future ahead of him. Everyone's been talking about this guy for years. You leave the school because you don't know if you'll be able to even make the lineup on your own team.
Oh my gosh.
Because there's this guy who's so good and you just don't, there's too much there. It's too much tension. You go to a different school. You meet that guy in the national finals. I'm talking Bubba Jenkins versus David Taylor. Bubba Jenkins pinned David Taylor in a cradle. One of the most iconic moments in wrestling ever.
Yeah.
Well, one of the most iconic part was when then he shot down his ankle bands.
Yes. Also very iconic. I don't know. I don't think I did a great job painting the picture there, but I think this match speaks for itself.
You didn't even paint the picture of him making himself academically ineligible. So
I didn't see. That's why I didn't know if I could talk about that.
Well, I'll talk about it.
It's known.
Yeah, he's
talked about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Classic move to get a red shirt.
So yeah, Bubba Jenkins. I don't know. You want to talk? Forget it.
That's a good one.
Thank you.
That's a good one. That was when you talk about like some of the loudest moments, like when he hits that, I remember the roar when he hits the cradle, when he rolls through, and then the pin, just crazy, place went nuts. Yeah, it's a good contribution, definitely a memorable one. Machine Gun Bubba was born.
And we forget too, David was smashing everybody that year. Bubba was not.
David was the favorite in this match. Yes. I was like, going into it, I was like, David is going to mess up Bubba in front of everyone. That is literally what I thought was going to happen. All the results aligned with that. For that year, Bubba took some random losses. He was in a war with Jason Welch just to make it to the match. He had I forget, it was like a Northern Colorado guy. Crazy match early on. And it's like, David's going to kill this dude. He killed everyone that year. He messed up Steve Fittery, who was undefeated. People forget how good Steve Fittery was.
We got Machine Gun Bubba.
And Machine Gun Bubba just shoots him down. The Pride of Virginia, the 757.
Wow.
And gave us some great YouTube content after.
Yeah.
As well.
Just drinking Hennessy out of a giant styrofoam cup. Yeah, so this is a good one. This is a very good one.
Thank you.
That was on my list as well.
All right, well, this is honestly the number one. And I'm getting it for like however many overall one. It's crazy that I'm about to do this.
I don't believe you.
Ed Banach versus
JV
Mark
match,
Schultz.
JV match.
I've always said this is one of the greatest NCAA matches of all time.
You're a coward for taking
Mark
this.
Schultz,
Not
a hypocrite. You could have picked it. You could have picked it.
I've never called it a JV match.
I never did either. And no one's been able to produce that quote. You produce it. Everything's archived. This is a challenge to the nation. A challenge. Say where I said this was a JV match.
Pretty sure you literally said this is terrible wrestling. This match sucks.
Well, that maybe. Ed Banach,
come at us for
Mark Schultz,
pander picks anymore.
Mark Schultz says, "You know what, Ed Banach? I don't want you. You don't get to be a 4-time champion. I'm gonna bump up and I'm gonna beat you, and we're just gonna throw each other for 6 to 7 minutes until someone gets their hand raised." And that person was Mark Schultz, legend of the sport. Legendary match, high flying, lots of throws, all kinds of risks. You know, all these scoreless first periods. Oh, let me just wait. I'm gonna spring my trap late in the match. Not these guys. We're going out. We're scoring points. Ed Banach, Mark Schultz, legendary match, high scoring finale, incredible.
Good pick. Good pander pick. It was on my list.
I've never even seen that match.
As well.
No, not
straight
surprised.
up. Never seen that.
Not
match.
surprised.
With my pick, I thought you might take this one, CP.
And I might.
This one holds a special place in your heart, too. 2012, 133 pounds.
Yeah, it's on my
J.O.
list.
Steber.
Yo, that's good.
Yep. So this was Steber's first title. J.O. was trying to defend, and it gave us the iconic finish at the end. J.O. on his butt, Steber around the ankles. Rule change.
Vice versa.
After this, excuse me.
Vice versa.
Excuse me. The rule change after this.
We literally call this position the J.O. Steber position. When you're kind of in the double leg, between the legs, it's a takedown now. And it wasn't then.
And Oliver had beaten Steber earlier in the year, correct?
Bad.
Yes.
Bad at national duels.
Yep. So Steber, definite underdog. He would go on to win 4. So this was massive in terms of the legacy of his career. So everything surrounding this, again, just an iconic moment, position, iconic match.
Yeah, great one. Awesome match. And you think going into this match, you want to talk about ones where I felt like so certain of the outcome. I thought, man, Jordan Oliver is going to be so everyone knows Jordan Oliver, so big. And I was like, man, Jordan is going to be so big for this matchup. Like, you know, you make weight in the morning, he's going to be 100.
Last match of the year.
Last match of the year. I just thought, man, there's no way that Logan's going to be able to make up the deficit here. And Logan gets some slick takedowns. I mean, it was kind of a back and forth match, but Logan hit the single. I forget what they call this. It's that where you put in the far leg when you're in on the single leg. What do they call it?
I don't have a name for that. I just
Jack's Force spams it. David Taylor's really good at it. Sebastian Rivera did it to Spencer Lee in Midlands. It's a really slick, and that's how he was able to get one of his takedowns. Great match.
And I think people also, hardcore wrestling fans, kind of forget at the time how amazing JO was and how slick
Oh my gosh.
he was. 133-pound JO was different than 65 kg JO once he got into his senior career. I mean, this was like John Smith 2.0 almost.
Yes, he had it all. He had shots from every side. He had low level. He had
Cradles.
slide bys. He was insane on top. I mean, Jo, this era is so insane because you've got Kyle Dake, David Taylor, Logan Steber, and like Jo is some erroneously kind of like, I don't want to say forgotten, but he is on that level. He had his sophomore year, he was an undefeated national champion, and he really did not have a competitive match there. And so he has that going into this bout where he is still undefeated. You got to remember that. Undefeated sophomore year, going into this NCAA final undefeated, and your opponent you've already smashed. He was that good. And then the next year, what does he do? He goes up 2 weights, undefeated champion at 149. He is that dude.
That dude
JO.
The Twitter handle is no misnomer. And look at this. 1 second. Boop, boop. He's so good. So, yeah, this guy is just technically on just a different level. Jordan Oliver. And Logan Steber beat him.
Also one of the few actual good wrestlers to rock the tape mohawk down the center of the headgear.
Yeah, it's rare. That's a rare move, too.
Can't be forgetting that.
The accolades just continue.
Mm-hmm. All right, my last pick. Oh, this one's tough.
Come on.
I've got a couple I'm debating between. I think I'm going to go Panda with my last one.
Oh, shoot.
Because I've talked to casual people, casual fans, and this is one that they remember, I think, more than some of the others, I would say. 2010, 133 pounds.
Mine's still a liar.
Jason Ness, Dan Dennis.
Oh,
the duck heard around the world.
Oh, this hurt me.
Crushed, you think it hurt you? It crushed Dan Dennis. This man lived out of his truck. He became homeless after this for a little bit. He had to go off the grid. It's amazing he's back now, head coach of Hawkeye Wrestling Club. But yeah, I mean, just the last second duck to get it done. Minnesota at this time.
How about the whirly bird?
Yeah.
Yeah, bring that up. He was about to get ridden out and lose, and he hit him with he got the little whirly bird restart. Oof. They changed that's one of the main reasons that rule got changed. Because Ness was about to get ridden out and lose this match. He gets the whirly bird restart. He was flat. He was flattened out. He was not going to be able to build up.
Tell him, CP.
He hit him with the whirly. Got the restart. Hey, that's good tactics. Nothing
worked.
Nothing against the rules. And then this is the classic when everyone, you're watching the match and it's like, man, Dan is really engaging here. He's engaging Jason. It was sort of surprising because he could have just ran. He was up by 2, eat the stall, call short time, and he goes from the Minnesota was really good. This little kind of sweep to the duck to the other side. He hits it, body locks him to his back. Oh my gosh. You just look, your eyes just go to, I remember thinking at the time, I don't know, I don't work at Flow, I'm just a wrestling fan. I remember thinking, I was like, that would ruin my life if that happened to me. I'm just looking at Dan's face. I was like, yeah, that was it. That was his senior year. He was going to beat this guy. He could never beat Jason Ness. And you just did it. You beat him. And then you get taken out. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sad right now.
We should plug
the Hodge that year too. Jason Ness.
Yeah, for sure.
Hodge that year.
Should plug Wildman.
As well. Dan Dennis, awesome dude. Jason, I don't know Jason, but a fine person indeed. Not about Jason, but just for me personally, rooting for Dan at that time.
Wildman is a documentary Flo did on Dan Dennis. He has a really interesting story. He
does.
He became like a hermit after that match, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, but he got it together, made the Olympic team in 2016, which is a crazy one. Mm-hmm. Man, I have this is so tough. I've got a bunch.
The last one's tough. I have a bunch. We'll get the honorable mentions.
Yeah, we could talk honorable mentions, and I have a bunch. Oh man, what am I gonna do? I was thinking, do I do Pander? What am I gonna do?
Got a bunch of Pander bears over here.
Pander bears. I'm going. This is for me. All right, I'm doing this one. Fine. I'm following my heart, not my mind. My mind wants to do one, but my heart's doing another. I'm gonna go.
Your mind's telling you no.
But my body My body is telling me Imar Chenzo.
Ooh, that was on my list.
NCAA final.
Yeah.
This is one where I'm like, Penn State has magic spells. I was like, this is just this. That's when Penn State, in my mind, hit another echelon from what they were in the beginning part of the era of dominance to, oh my gosh, they can beat anyone. Imar was just this unbeatable, untouchable. He's gonna be
Kale?
He's gonna be the next four-timer. Now he had a loss already to Jason Nolf, but he beat Jason Nolf and avenged those losses. And Chenzo's just this. He's a freshman. He's really good, and he made the finals. And good job, Chenzo. You had a great year. You made the finals from like the 6th seed or something. Good job. And then he beats him and he pins him. And you're like, what's happening?
Inside trip.
Inside trips him to his back. Like this, it was just not a thought that he could do this.
He had one of the nicest inside trips.
He did, and he beats him the same way next year. But I can't tell you just the amount of just the awe I had in that moment that he was able to do that, and what Penn State did in that 5 straight matches where Zane Rutherford, Tex, Brandon Sorensen, and then Jason Nolf, Majors. Wait, no, it was Levon Mays, and then it was Nolf against Joey LaValle, major decision. He goes behind the back, single leg takedown, and then he pins Imar. That was just not like, you can look back on that now, and it's like, okay, yeah, you see it. At that time, I can't even. It was incomprehensible. Go back to listen to Jeff Byers' call of this match and watch it was unbelievable that Chenzo did this. And so much of it is about the respect you have for Isaiah Martinez and how great he is. This is an incredible moment. And to me, it's one of, it may not seem like it because it was a runaway finish for Penn State. This is one of the defining iconic moments in the Cale Sanderson era at Penn State for me.
Good pick.
It's a great pick.
Thanks.
Is that your last pick?
Unfortunately, I could go. Man, there's one. We'll see if you take it.
Yeah,
I probably won't.
I'll just take a 5th one and really win this one.
I have, man, I don't know. There's some I should probably just save for what?
But that's a good. It's on my list, but that's not the one. We'll see what you do.
I thought maybe you were going to pick that one.
Yeah, I thought about it.
You kind of took my last, like, really one that stands out in my brain.
That's the last NCAA final you watched.
Tyler cannot take this one, though, that I showed you.
No.
What?
Say your pick.
He won't take it. Just go.
I'm going to go David Carr versus Keegan O'Toole. 2023? 2023.
All that way back.
Yeah, all the way back. Well, just because it's one of the greatest rivalries in college wrestling. You got...
It sure is.
I think it's too fresh in our memories right now to where it's not playing super well, but 10 years from now, it will definitely get...
David Carr beats Keegan 2 times in a row. Keegan wrestles him in the finals, kind of just controls him. I mean, as far as the match goes, maybe not the most...
The exchanges were close, but the score, yeah.
Yeah. I just think as far as rivalry goes, as far as what we will be looking back on, I think David Carr versus Keegan O'Toole is a great match.
Yeah, embrace debate. Was this year's better?
So...
Yes, but it wasn't a final.
But also, I had this one on the list. I thought about putting Carr Messenbrink.
I thought about that too.
That match was fire.
It was.
It was a great match. And that's one we'll look back in 10 years and be like, holy crap, that was a crazy match. I had this one down. I thought this was a great match as well. Do you want to get into honorable mentions?
Can I throw one in?
Toss one.
Look, this would have been one of my, it would have been up there high for me, but 1993, Lincoln McIlravy.
Oh my gosh.
Jerry Abbas.
Yes.
Oh, that is a good
Probably
one.
miss.
I actually know about that one.
That's a big miss.
That was probably a
We
miss
need to
on our part.
re-edit.
That match was so crazy because Lincoln McIlravy his red shirt got pulled that year. And I think there was some question, like, was that the right decision? Should they have left him in red shirt? And the true freshman thing, I don't think was as popular back then as maybe it is now. Makes the NCAA finals against Jerry Abbas, who's very seasoned, Fresno State legend. And Abbas is like up big.
Really big.
Just killing him. And then McIlravy just workman-like comes back, gets the win. It's so iconic.
Is this why you became like your boot scoot was your number one takedown? Because you're a boot scooting son of a gun, David Bray.
The boot scoot. I do love the boot.
Nothing goes better with the boot scooting boogie than the mullet Lincoln would rock.
Yeah.
too.
Perfect.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, he was just spamming duck unders at the end there, and Abbas just fell over. It's one of when you talk about one of you, I think JD said like a match you're going to show someone, like Snyder. That one is one for me, and this one I can't believe this one didn't get said, and maybe I should have said it, but I didn't want to. Rob Roan, Josh Lambrecht.
I almost said that one.
Oh my gosh! I mean. That's one. I remember when I was a coach, I would show this matchup like, you are never out of a match, guys. Look at this. He's getting killed. I mean, he's going to get teched.
14-2.
Tilt. And he hits the mixer. And then it's forever. I mean, Lambrecht is fighting like a son of a gun because all he has to do is not get pinned and he wins this match. And Roan settles in, gets the pin. This one is up there for most iconic.
I kind of wish I took that was on my list and I went for Messenbrink Carr over that.
What? No. Keegan Carr.
What did I say? I mean, I went for Keegan Carr over that.
Well, this is the one I was between. I was tortured, and I felt like my heart and soul wanted to say Chenzo Imar, but I thought this would maybe help me win. But I just went with
Roan Lambrecht was literally next on my list.
And another one you said
Tyler. This is the one I said Tyler can't pick.
Can't pick it.
Johnny Hendricks.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
This is
that one is just stupid.
But that's what makes it so. That's what makes it
so
iconic.
real. Like
That's
you
what
guys
makes it so
agree that
iconic.
match is stupid, right?
Yeah, I mean he was pinned, but it's incredible. And another one I was gonna say,
Not only that, they gave him like 2 fake takedowns.
so fake. The fakest takedown.
crazy.
Yeah, it's a disgrace. You can't pick that match because it's like what? You want to talk about like
It's not a good final.
It's so entertaining though. Like
It is entertaining.
in terms of like memory. It's not just the fact that he pinned him in this cradle, no doubt about it. These takedowns they were given,
And they only gave 2 swipes there.
yeah. Well, they were kind of time was sort of an issue, but there's one where it's like the other angle where it's like you can see the blades of glory.
This is one I was like, you might take this one because this is kind of your era too. Big wrestling fan.
Yes.
So iconic because of the crowd and Johnny Hendricks, the bad boy kind of NCAA wrestling at this time. This added fuel to that fire. You can hear fans
That
booing.
one. Look at this one.
Let's pull it
I
up.
mean, so flat. So flat.
Gee.
But that's not even the worst call. The pin's not even the worst
There's
call.
2 fake takedowns.
fake
in
downs.
this
You gotta
match.
call them fake downs.
You're crazy.
Don't show Johnny Hendricks this video.
Yeah.
He don't care. He's got the chip. He's the man. But then another one I wanted to say, oh man, this one was so hard to not include. Ben Askren versus Jake Herbert. This just like
I had that on my list.
I could not believe when I watched this match unfold, I could not believe it. I mean, Jake Herbert is just like the wrestling Terminator guy. You're not gonna be in Ben. That's when you're like, oh my gosh, there's just something about there's just another technical level that doesn't even make sense. And Ben Askren, like it was his masterpiece match, really.
I had one that I knew neither of you were going to pick that I thought maybe could be an ace in my sleeve. Is that his term?
Ace in my up my sleeve.
Ace up my sleeve? Or is it ace in the hole?
Ace in the hole is another, but an ace up your sleeve is like your. It's how
That is a term.
That's
An
that's what you mean.
An ace in my shirt. Okay. So I had this one written down because I knew you guys weren't going to pick it, but then I ultimately didn't choose it because I felt like the match itself wasn't that special.
Yeah.
But allow me to paint you another picture.
Okay.
Your team
Say it,
gets
just
cut.
say it.
Bob Ross over here.
Your team gets cut.
Yeah, I thought about this one.
Yes,
Okay,
that
yeah.
was on
Shane
my list
Griffith.
as well. No, that
Shane
was on my
Griffith
list.
saving Stanford Wrestling by
The
winning
black
a
singlet.
national title in the black singlet. That was on my list. I ultimately didn't go for it because I didn't think the match itself was that crazy, but I think just what that match meant
For sure.
and it's saving an entire program. You agreeing with me this hard makes me wish I kind of put it on there, but
Yeah. Then another one in that vein of not a great match, but just Nick Suriano versus Spencer Lee.
I had that written down. But again, he won like 6-0 or something, didn't he?
like 5-1 or
5-1.
but just the energy around that match when
Yeah.
it happened. We didn't know if we were going to get it because Nick missed a bunch of time at the end of that year. Yeah, that was a crazy one for sure.
I also had Anthony Robles, Matt McDonough on my list.
Good.
2011. But again, not so much the final, but just the fact that Robles won.
Another one
Iconic.
What were you going to say?
Jay Jagger's Chad Mendez.
I haven't seen that
You know
one.
what picture to pull up, David Bray. This dude, Chad Mendez, listen, good fighter, good wrestler, dirty dog. He just snapped my man Jay Jagger's ankle just for no good reason other than he wanted to win the match. And Jay said, "You don't get to win the match because you break my ankle, dog." And Jay always like downplays like how hardcore this was, but he had to finish the match with a straight up snapped ankle. And the picture is like his foot is so bent up. We'll see.
I can't find it.
You can't find it.
Find the screenshot in the match.
It's got to be somewhere. There's a great. I thought Tony had the picture, Rotundo. But anyways, there's one picture where Jay's just like screaming, and Chad just has the ankle and is like bent it up. It's really nasty.
So, as you know, I started wrestling in 2012. So my first NCAA championships I watched live was 2013. Then the next one I watched live was 2014. And
that makes sense.
My favorite match from 2014, which I didn't think that maybe this would resonate with other people, but my favorite match from that one was Tony Ramos versus Graf, because I thought the way he won was like so cool. Just
savvy.
Yeah. But
he's a smart wrestler. Also, Graf kind of beat himself in that one too.
Kind of, yeah. I thought getting that tilt for the win, your senior year, getting your national title in that way, I thought was so cool.
Yes.
Especially after he'd been ridden out the 30 seconds before that. So he had to ride out to win, and then he got the tilt.
I had Miles Martin beating Bo Nickel in mine, 2016.
I had mine, and I had that on mine too.
Miles was like an 11 seed or something like that, super low coming in. I think Bo was the one. Gave us that iconic picture of my mark jumping up in the air. Again, that one kind of, in the time, was crazy, but going on to what Bo became and the rivalry kind of became, it added more to it than what it was in real time as well.
No doubt. I was going to say, oh my gosh, I found some of the versions of the picture. It's pretty nasty. I was going to say Gwiz, Tony Nelson. That
was fire.
That was a crazy one. I was a big like Gwiz guy that year because there were so many good heavyweights. You had Tony Nelson was a reigning 2-time champion. You had McMullen, I believe, was in the mix. You had Telford. Adam Kuhn was ranked number 1 throughout the year. The number 1 was a revolving door. And Gwizowski was like a guy I was like, this dude could win. It was like not like a sexy pick. So I was like high on him early. And then he gets it done. I thought that was so hype.
The curse of 3.
And people, yeah. And then he later would lose in his bid for his 3rd title.
Can I tell you something funny?
No.
In hindsight, so you know, but you just broke your microphone.
I'm so powerful.
Fix it.
Works,
Dude.
You did this.
Back on.
You did this, Nikki. I blame Nikki. Nikki's gonna have to come in here.
It's because you touch it too much.
No. Okay, maybe. Be quiet, Nikki. Nikki said I do touch it too much. No, it wasn't it wasn't fastened properly.
I think you have to like turn the whole.
Turn it like that.
Well, unplug the wire first. You can't just.
I'll just do it like this.
Just hold it.
Nikki, you come on here. Nikki's gonna come in here.
Yeah.
I
Anyways,
just have to go handheld.
Don't worry about it. This is fine. This happens.
Christian just
live
really wanted to
podcasting,
interrupt my
baby.
story.
No, I didn't.
I'm just
I
kidding.
love your stories.
Did you say, let me tell you something funny, and then you just broke his microphone?
I can't let people think, oh, look.